This video can also be titled Aoife Lives Vicariously Through Book Characters. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I'm taking you through some of my favourite bookish sisters. The day that I am publishing this video is actually my sibling's birthday, but I don't have any sisters, I have a brother. I've always wanted to have a sister, and I actually remember asking my parents not for a sibling, specifically to give me a sister. So you can imagine how disappointed I turned out to be when that didn't turn up. However, I still get to live vicariously through so many books that I have loved and that I have read, which feature really great and really strong sisterly relationships. First one on the list is one of the most quintessential sister books that there is, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Everybody out there associates more strongly with one of the March sisters than any of the others. I am very much a Jo March. I feel like if anybody told me that I was a Meg, I would take it as a personal insult, but I can also see little bits of Amy, little bits of Beth in me, but I am very specifically a Jo March. I feel as well like this portrays a sibling relationship really well, in that they don't always like each other. Let's remember the time that Amy burned Jo's manuscript and that Jo completely froze Amy out for about a week. That is something that has genuinely happened, when you get so angry with your sibling that you just completely refuse to acknowledge their existence for about an hour until you realize that you want them to do something for you. I know so many siblings who have that kind of a relationship, but at the end of the day, you would probably move mountains for them. That is exactly the relationship in this book. Next up is 3 Sisters, 3 books, 1 series. The Brown Sister Trilogy by Talia Hibbert. Again, everybody has a Brown sister that they most associate with. Everybody has a Brown sister book that they favour the most. Those aren't necessarily the same too. For example, my favourite of the Brown sisters is probably Eve, because I share that kind of chaotic energy that she has. But my favourite of the books is actually, take a hint, Dani Brown, because Dani has a fake dating trope in it and also has Dr. Rugby Zaf in it, and that's pretty much anything that I want in a partner. I really love the relationship in these books though. It's not brought to the fore as much as with other books, but you can still see Eve showing up in her other sister's books, or Chloe shows up in her other sister's books, and I love that they kind of just drift in and out of each other's lives, and we always get caught up with what the others are doing, where they are in their lives, and where they are in their relationships. I absolutely love seeing these 3. Next up is a set of twins, and that is Olive and Amy from the Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. Again, there isn't a whole lot of interaction between Olive and Amy, as they spend quite a lot of the book separated. Amy is back in their hometown dealing with food poisoning, while Olive is on Amy's honeymoon. But I really loved seeing how much the sisters stick up for each other, especially when it comes to the end of the book and things are starting to come out about Amy's new husband, Dane. And he's not really portrayed in the best light, but Olive stands by her sister 100%, believes everything that she has said, listens to everything that her sister is concerned and is worried about. And it's something that has made me wish even harder that I had a twin sister. That was specifically the type of sister that I wanted to have. For some reason, I had an obsession with twins, being a twin, having a twin, what it was like to have twins. And I really wish that I had had one, but seeing the relationship that Amy and Olive have in this book just hammered the point home for me even harder. Next up is Beatrice and Samantha from American Royals by Catherine McGee. This is quite a strained relationship at times, and a lot of that isn't because of how they get along with each other, but mainly because of who they are in life. Beatrice is, in American Royals, the first in line to the throne of the United States of America, and Sam feels more like the spare part to her sister. However, they do really have a great bond with each other. There are some really touching parts in later books of the series where you can see just how much Beatrice really struggles with the idea of having to put country first rather than put family first. And I really love that Samantha and Beatrice's relationship kind of thaws a little bit in the 3rd book, so much so that Samantha is comfortable to come to her sister, tell her her deepest worries and her biggest desires with her life and where she wants to go with her life, with her careers, with her relationships. And Beatrice just lets her do whatever she pleases. Next up is another YA book, and that's All American Girl by Meg Cabot. I absolutely love the three sisters in this book, Lucy, Sam, and Rebecca. But I do think that I prefer the relationship between Sam and Lucy a little bit more than with Rebecca thrown in. A lot of the time throughout this book, Rebecca feels like a bit of a side character. She doesn't really interact with her two sisters as much, and I think that that's because she's not as social as Sam and Lucy might be. But especially when you look at their relationship in Ready or Not, which is the second book in the duology, when Sam is thinking about having sex for the first time, when she's thinking about taking her relationship with her boyfriend a little bit further, she turns to her older sister Lucy for some advice, for what she should do, for how she should manage her nerves. And Lucy really goes to bat for her sister. She goes out and buys condoms. She goes out and buys spermicidal phobe. She basically puts herself into the position of getting everything ready for Sam, so that Sam doesn't attract a load of media attention, because when you've saved the life of the president, cameras start to follow you no matter where you go. If that's not the sisterly relationship that you want, I don't know what to tell you. Another YA book with three sisters who I absolutely adore are the Covey Sisters from To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy by Jenny Han. Here I don't really have a favourite sister relationship, but again, one of the sisters isn't really as heavily focused in the books. Because at the start of To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Margot has gone off to college in Scotland, you don't really see her interacting with her two sisters as much as you would see the other two. And of course, there is the whole Kitty sending out Lara Jean's letters to the recipients that she probably shouldn't have done. Like with Jo and Amy, you do have this whole "I'm never speaking to you again, give it a couple of days and we'll be back on track." And that is, again, a really realistic relationship between siblings, the whole kind of really annoying them, really irritating them, but then going back on it a couple of days later because they're family. Finally, one of my favourite big family sister relationships is the Walsh Sisters by Marion Keyes. There are 5 sisters in the Walsh family: Claire, Rachel, Maggie, Anna, and Helen. All 5 of them have their own book, and all 5 of them are really represented in their own books, of course. But there are moments of everyone else's book where somebody will appear in here. For example, when Rachel is in rehab in Rachel's holiday, Anna comes in to tell her what kind of gossip is happening back at home. When Claire comes home from London with a baby in Watermelon, her sister Helen and Anna are living in the house still, so kind of keep her spirits up. When Maggie has moved over to the US to kind of get over the fact that her marriage is failing, she leans really heavily on her sister Rachel, who is living in New York at the time. And I really loved seeing the sisters rely on each other. And you can tell that they're the kind of sisters that would have been at loggerheads constantly when they were younger, and that would have had screaming matches to take the house down. But now that they're in their 20s and 30s, everything has simmered down and they are genuinely the best of friends with each other. Those are just some of my favourite books that feature sibling relationships, and specifically that feature sister relationships. Do you have any favourite books that feature siblings, that feature twins, that feature brothers or sisters? Please do let me know. Or if you can't think of anything to add in, then just leave the emoji of 2 sisters. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.